Hello guys, today I'm with the Bulgarian national champion Alexander Manov. What did you play and why did you play it?
So I played DRYTRON at the nationals. I thought it was the best choice to bring to this event because the deck's pretty good, and I've been playing it for a long time, and I've been compiling lists for the last 3 months or something, and I've been testing this list for a while now, and I think it's actually pretty good. It's not like the list from the YCS because I didn't actually like those, because those were a little bit too specific for win conditions. I didn't like their win conditions because they lost to half the meta. Obviously they're auto wins against most of the meta, but against the other part they just lose. I want to play a deck that can adapt and literally make a board that can pretty much stop any deck that you go up against. So yeah, the list is 41 because there's no way I could have made it 40, and this is the lowest I can go. Obviously I don't want to play more than 40 because you wouldn't see your side deck, also you wouldn't see your names and power cards, so there's that. So yeah, for the names, also before I start, I'm gonna put the deck list on the screen if anyone just wants to copy the deck list, but I would advise anyone who wants to play the deck, especially this build, you play this deck in a more specific way. It's not super standard as far as I've seen. So yeah, let's start with the 3 alphas, 3 zetas, that's obvious. 3 gamma, I see some people cut it to 2, and 2 delta. So these are self-explanatory, it's obvious. Gamma is the third most important one because it combos off with another name and it always makes a rank 1, or always represents 2 bodies. While delta is never a guaranteed play, if that makes sense. But it's really nice because it can just draw your non-engine cards and just straight up card advantage. Everyone DRYTRON is a go even, unless you tribute Benton, then you're just lost, which yeah. Benton is now at 2, obviously, so this deck got a little bit of a boost. It doesn't matter that much, but yeah, that's the names. 2 diviners.
Why did you play 2?
Yeah, most people play free, but if you play free, you're gonna have a game or 2 that you open just 2 in your hand. This card is not detrimental to open. I don't know why people just rely on this card so much. It's really good. It's an amazing card, don't get me wrong, but literally your whole deck gets to it, and I don't think there's any logic to have the risk of clogging yourself. Also, you want to cut it down to 40 as much as possible, so yeah, this was a necessary cut. Yeah, that's for those. Now for the retro engines that I played. So I played the Betos Buster and the Counter Trap because this deck doesn't win with Roar or Armor Factor the people that played in the YCS. This deck wins by just making a good board, really good boards, and this makes sure that you don't lose to Roar or Droplet, and also it plays around Talons because if they start baiting your stuff, you're gonna be okay, sure, my opponent wants to bait me for Talons. No, you just activate this and don't trigger it for the rest of the turn, and they can just not activate their talents if you know that's the only way they can break your board. So for the Veglets, we played this. So 2 of this. This is standard. People play this engine like this because the first Ophio goes into the Baron, and then when you summon full summons the second Ophio. The second Ophio searches the Beto. So you either have a pop, or you have Tribute Floater for your DRYTRON's next turn. A lot of times I use the full to go into Beatrice if I want to make something else. So it's not necessary to end on the pop. You can skip it altogether. You can keep this in hand for material, for DRYTRONs, and then make Beatrice and access your last retro engine that way. You don't need to search everything. You don't need to open the retro engines. You can go in, as I said, you can go into Beatrice and just bin it. Because this deck can just summon rituals from the grave, obviously. The two Bantams, this is the fairy engine, so it's like this. Most people cut this, I understand why, but in my build I play 2 ritual spells, and this actually goes, this actually comes up in the combo sometimes when you want to make Beatrice, because you can summon it with Ophio. When you summon this with Ophio, this will get your ritual spell back, and overlay Fu and this into Beatrice. Beatrice sends the last ritual, and you use the ritual spell to get the last ritual. Oh, one thing, before I move on, I know this is going to be a little bit of a long profile, but it's really important. I forgot to mention this card, so it's Tuner, it's level 4, and it's a machine with 2000 attack, so you can use it for tributes, for your ritual summons, which came up a lot. Also, you can make Baron with it, even if you don't have access to Diviner. Also, if this is on the field with Mubeta with 1 material left, which usually you do in the combo, Mubeta is also a spell trap negate, because most people actually forget that, but you're using your maximum value for your cards. Like every single effect that your cards have, you're using it, you're milking your cards for everything they got. You wanna like utilize them to their maximum potential, I guess. And the last ritual I played was like Draconitz. He's nice. I would debatably cut him if when I play because I play Betos Buster, but he is something you can search off emergency, so it's nice to have if you have extra like searches. If you've already opened engine, you can search this and not worry about nip, because if you go ritual spell and they nip your whole board, sometimes you don't have materials, but you can have this in hand to tribute. Also, it's an extra like ritual you can have as an option going next turn. It can OTK really nice, but people usually play again around him because they know he exists and doesn't actually come up that much, but he's really nice. So for the rest of the names, we have this. So this is kind of self-explanatory. You know, one of the field spell because you just want more names. Not too many though. This is obvious. Some people cut this to 2. I don't understand why, because in this build specifically, if you open this, you have easier lines to go into Baron before your 5th summon. So you can go like name, go Nova. If you have ritual spell, you can ritual spell for Ophio there. Summon Diviner, that's your 4th summon. Diviner adds you like whatever, Penton, or if whatever you don't have, the ritual spell for example. Then like you go, yeah, as I said, you go ritual spell, summon the Ophio with one of the names, the one you summon off Noble. You make Baron, and then you use the name that you tributed off Nova to extend your plays, like to just continue playing, and then you have 2 level 1s, you go into Beta, and the rest is like the rest of your combo. And then there's the 2 ritual spells. So many people play 2 because of Crow. I didn't get this Crow all day, which kind of sucks, but actually it came up a lot to have 2. So I even think if Crow's not played, I would actually try and play 2 from this point onward, because actually you have really nice combos and extensions with 2. Yeah, you can sometimes clog with it, like sometimes break when you have you know, bad hand, but this deck doesn't really like produce bad hands that often, as far as I've seen. Also, side note, like one little, I guess, macro you have to do, just because I have 2 rarities of this. Obviously, if you go game 1 and you search this copy of Minionis, game 2 you specifically have to remember to search the same copy, because if you search the ultra rare copy, they're gonna notice that you play 2 and they're gonna, you know, kind of play around it. So I guess that's something you need.
Yeah, they won't crow you as often.
Yeah, they won't crow you at all. Like they're just gonna crow names. Like honestly, just crow names in this deck. It's no use crowing the field spells. I've realized that in hindsight, I guess, after this tournament. So for power 1-offs, I guess.
Ooh.
Yeah. So this is obvious. You play this. There's no debate. This is because I don't want to get locked. I don't want to get decked out by mine. Really unfortunate experience if that happens. Also opening this against backrow is good, I guess, but you wouldn't know if this wasn't like so mind heavy. You obviously wouldn't play this. Why would I? This deck choose for backrow. It has no problems with backrow. So some people cut the Foolish. I don't understand why. Foolish is not only a name. If you have names and you can play the game, Foolish is just one of your ritual engines. For example, like Megaliths or the Betos Buster. You can just bin it to grave and ritual summon it. I don't understand why people actually don't play this card. It's insane in this deck. People say it's a back top deck, but if you're like top decking, if you're relying on a top deck in this deck, like turn 3, you're not playing this deck correctly. You need to have the follow up in hand already. And then the going second cards, obviously, you know, aside from the engine, which is actually pretty nice going second. I don't know why people don't. People say that DRYTRONs are really bad going second. The talents are really nice. Actually, saved me a couple times when I didn't have any play and I had only alpha. And your opponent's like, okay, I will ash alpha, sure. And then you just draw another name and play the game. You can steal. It's insane if you steal an Xyz. You can make Zeus. Droplet, self-explanatory. This is the freest deck you can play Droplet in. There's no need to explain that. Yeah, and now I guess I'll go to the extra first, not the side, because the side is I'm gonna explain the side later, I guess. So 2 beta, standard. You will milk this card for every single effect this card has. This card has 3 effects in total. You're gonna use every single one. You're gonna send to grave, you're gonna use it as material, and you're gonna negate spam traps with this because you're gonna have the Betos Buster on the field most of the time. I played the Zeus package. This is obvious. Some people cut this. You need 4th material. No debate in this list. This card is kind of cheeky. It comes up against Dynamorphia, I guess, often. I thought more people would be playing that deck because it seemed like a pretty good control deck, so this is a really cool win condition against them because you get 2 bodies on the field after they've like paid half of their life points like 30,000 times. They're already on like 2 life points. You just make this and attack them directly twice. But not a lot of people played that deck, which was kind of disappointing for me because this deck has a really good matchup against that. But it's fine. Like any back row deck, you just chew through. Which the unfortunate part is I never play against back row decks on these events. I don't know why. There's a lot of them. I just don't get matched up against them, I guess. And for the last 6 Cs, it's Beatrice. Obvious. You need this in this build. Not only do you need it in 1 card hands, 1 DRYTRON hands. Sorry. You also need it to combo most of the time if you want to get to your last like retro engine, which is pretty nice. Beatrice is amazing. Insane card. Links. The only card I would cut, like I would replace in this whole list at all, definitely, is only this, just this card. Only this card, you want Link Ribble. Link Ribble comes in core situations, mostly if you're playing Dark, which I'm not. But I guess Link Ribble gives you a zone downwards, and you can make IP under it, which actually comes up a lot. You can't make IP with this. If you commit to this, you're not making IP this turn, which really sucks. And I had to play around that a bit. Yeah, I realized it in after the tournament. So yeah, replace this. Nobody walks into this. I guess if you're playing against good players, they shouldn't play into it. And then for the Link 2's IP, you need it for end board. If you're going on an end board that like disrupts your opponent more on field, if you don't want them to have like bodies. Phoenix for moving back row and playing around Tikaboo and like floodgates like that. Unicorn to make off IP and climb into access code. And speaking of, here's access code. This card's insane. Like I don't know, it's unrespondable. Like this card won me the finals along with like Natasha, obviously. This card is really nice. No need to explain it. Usually get 2 pops with it in this deck, like 2 to 3. Also, it's an auto skill drain. I guess most people know that. And the last one, Appaloosa. You make Appaloosa for 4 in this deck very often. You have so much material on the field. You don't know what to do with it. If I had like 8 zones, I could combo off better. Honestly, this deck just clogs its zones. Usually, I use Phoenix to like climb up so I can free up zones. This is ridiculous. And for the last part of the deck, this card is insane. Shoutouts to like one of my friends that gave me this card in like last minute, one day before the event because I didn't have it. It's insane. It does everything. This card is broken, absolutely broken. You use every effect: the pop, the negate, and the tag out. I've tagged out into Diviner so many times. Diviner summon send Entis, pop. It's just insane. And speaking of Entis and Herald, these are your diviner targets. Self-explanatory. You need them to play. And then the side deck, I guess. The side deck was really nice. And surprisingly, the first card I'm going to show, this card that sort of defines the format right now, sadly. I would cut this, maybe. I would consider cutting this because this is theoretically for Despia and Flunder because they have no like in-engine add to it. Flunder has one, but if they don't like search it, they have to get to it by hard drawing, which buys you a couple of turns. You don't want to mind lock someone for too long. You want to mind lock them for like 2 turns. Just draw some material and that's it, and then go for it. You never want to dick out someone with mine. That's stupid. They're gonna out it and you're gonna cry.
Shoutouts to MBT.
Yeah, shoutouts to MBT on the on the YCS feature match. I guess he went for that, but yeah, don't do that. I would probably cut this. I don't know for what. Your Flunder matches is very bad. This is mainly for that and Despia, but yeah. You want something for that matchup, obviously. That's a very prevalent deck, I guess, in our Bulgarian meta, so you want to be prepared. Then the free Twister, back row decks, and against decks that you just want to bait out back row, I guess, Despia works. Also, people are going to side deck anti-spell, and it's a little bit awkward to side this in against combo decks because they're not going to have any back row like aside from anti-spell. So for those decks, instead of this, you are siding this because this guarantees that you have a live card. Like let's say they don't draw a spell, so you don't have the dead Twister, you're still gonna out their board. Even if they anti-spell, you're gonna lava golem them. 2 names does the job to also like just clear the anti-spell and make all of your spells online again. This card is ridiculous. It was for Sword Soul and Despia theoretically. Sword Soul, if you blindside against, like if they have to blindside against you, let's say you just scoop game 1, they don't know you're playing DRYTRON, so obviously they won't go into Chaofeng, so they'll use the usual board, and you can just lava golem that. If they're smart, they're gonna go only Chaofeng. Nothing else because they don't need to. They're gonna go Chaofeng Trap, for example. Then it becomes a little bit awkward. But I didn't see most players didn't do that, so that's fine, I guess. Against Despia, even if they end only on Mirror Jade, so let's say this is kind of dead, they're gonna have to red use at some point. Like when they brand it in red, they're gonna bring the Mirror Jade back, and they're gonna have a Chimera, maybe a Dramaturge or something like that. You're just gonna lava golem those and keep playing. They are not gonna expect you to lava golem them after they've like used branded in red because you've already committed to the board. They're not gonna think you have it. Then for the last cards, I guess some one-offs first. These. This didn't come up. It was obviously for Sword Soul and like Brave decks. Your board is so oppressive that you honestly don't need this. I would like cut this. This is really nice to have. However, it's a free search for Alpha Benten, hits Flunder. This is really important against Despia. Most of the people think, okay, this doesn't stop Despia. Yeah, this doesn't stop Despia, but when you drop this on Despia on an established field, you cut them off from red, you cut them off from Allures if they're playing that build, and you cut them off from using Mirror Jade to banish cards, aka they also can't pay cost. So they can't like search recursion. So when they break your board, you know you have a very narrow pool of cards you have to deal with. You don't deal with like everything that I just said. You just deal with more narrow pool of cards, and you know what to negate. It becomes really easy. The game then because it's just like you check this and this, and if they don't have it, you know what to do. Last 3 cards, Barrier, Absolute Auto Win. Really stupid card, bad card design, sorry. This is like you flip this on Despia or Sword Soul, they just pass. Like what are they gonna do? Usually on this tournament I would rather shotgun this. Some people play Night Beam. It's a bit random in my opinion, but you don't want to lose to like a random Night Beam. You just shotgun this. They can't play anyway. You don't make them to commit. That's stupid. Like, well, okay, they're gonna commit Moye. even if they don't, like, you just kill them. I don't understand why you would wait for someone to commit and then like barrier them. Your deck is insane and just kills them out of nowhere. Yeah, that was the deck. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope someone would like give it a try. It's really fun. Has some really cool lines that I haven't seen people honestly do. I might do a combo video of this, I guess, but for now, yep, that was it. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.